Welcome back to my YouTube channel, 1 cent. It's the smallest denomination of currency in the United States, often regarded as insignificant. But what if I told you that a 1 cent coin from 1979, a coin most people wouldn't give a second glance, could be worth a staggering $70 million? You might be wondering, how could a simple penny possibly be worth that much? Stick around as we dive into the fascinating history and value of the 1979 1 cent coin, which has become a collector's dream. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're talking about one of the most mind-blowing coins in US history, the 1979 1 cent coin. It's a coin you might have in your change jar right now, and you wouldn't even know it could be worth millions of dollars. That's right, I said millions. But how did a simple penny become so valuable, and why are collectors and investors going crazy over it? Let's take a deeper dive. The 1979 penny, at first glance, may look just like any other coin you'd find in your pocket. The obverse shows the familiar face of President Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse side displays the iconic Lincoln Memorial. But it's not the design that makes this coin so valuable, it's the rare characteristics found in certain 1979 pennies that have caught the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. So, what's the deal? Why is this specific coin so valuable, and what makes some 1979 pennies worth tens of millions of dollars? Well, let's break it down. In 1979, the United States Mint produced over 6 billion pennies that year. But there was something unique about the production process. Some of these pennies were struck on incorrect planchets, which are the metal discs that get stamped with designs to create coins. These incorrect planchets, particularly the ones that were minted on copper planchets instead of the usual zinc-coated steel, have become the focal point of rare coin collectors. These so-called copper pennies were never supposed to exist in 1979. By this time, the U.S. Mint had switched to using a zinc-coated steel for most pennies, as part of cost-saving measures during the 1970s. But in some rare instances, a few pennies were mistakenly struck using the older copper planchets, and that's where the story gets interesting. These error pennies, minted with the wrong type of metal, are far more valuable than regular pennies from 1979. Why? Because they're not just rare, they're historic. The U.S. Mint has confirmed that only a handful of these copper pennies were produced, and as a result, they're considered one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so it's rare. But how much is a copper 1979 penny worth? Well, in recent years, a 1979 copper penny in good condition has been sold at auctions for prices ranging from a few $1,000s to well over $100,000. But that's just the beginning. Some of the finest examples of these error pennies, those in pristine condition, have sold for much more. In fact, one of the most famous copper 1979 pennies was sold for over $1.7 million at an auction in 2019. And it doesn't stop there. Here's where things get absolutely crazy. There are claims, based on expert evaluations, that one particular 1979 copper penny could potentially be worth up to $70 million. Yes, $70 million for a single coin. But before you start digging through your change jar, there are some things you need to know. Not every 1979 penny is made of copper or is an error coin. In fact, only a tiny percentage of the 1979 pennies are made from copper. And, in order for a coin to fetch millions, it needs to meet very specific criteria, such as being in near-perfect condition, with clear signs of authenticity, and being verified by a trusted grading service. Even then, there are only a few that are believed to have the potential to reach such astronomical values. So, how do you know if your 1979 penny is worth something? The first step is to make sure it's actually made from copper. You can test this by using a magnet. Copper doesn't attract magnets, but steel does. If your penny sticks to a magnet, then it's not the rare copper variety. Once you're sure your coin is a copper penny, the next step is to get it graded by a professional. Coin grading is an essential part of the process for determining a coin's value. coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The better the condition of your penny, the higher its value, so, if you've got a copper 1979 penny and you think it might be worth something, get it graded, and if it's in excellent condition, you could be sitting on a potential gold mine. But remember, these coins are incredibly rare, and the $70 million price tag is more of an extraordinary outlier than something you'll find in your pocket every day. But it's not just about the money. The story behind these rare coins is what makes them so special. It's about history, mistakes in production, and the fascinating world of coin collecting that has captured the imaginations of people for centuries, so, there you have it. The 1979 1-cent coin, a seemingly simple penny, could be worth a lot more than you think. If you have one in your collection, or if you happen to stumble upon one in your spare change, you might just be holding on to a small piece of history. Keep your eyes peeled, and happy collecting, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more exciting coin stories and valuable history lessons. Until next time, keep searching for those hidden treasures. Next, 1 cent. The smallest denomination in the U.S. currency system. It's something we often toss aside without a second thought. But what if I told you that a 1986 1-cent coin, yes, a penny, could be worth a staggering $47 million? It's hard to believe, but it's true. How could a simple penny be worth that much? Let's take a deeper look at the fascinating history and value of the 1986 1-cent coin and uncover the rare circumstances that could make it worth millions. Welcome back, everyone. If you've been following the world of rare coins, you've probably heard of some truly extraordinary discoveries. But today, we're talking about a penny, a 1986 1-cent coin, that has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. This coin is not just another penny, it's a potential jackpot, worth an astonishing $47 million. But how can a coin that's only worth 1 cent have such a mind-blowing value? Stick with us as we explore the story behind this amazing coin and how it ended up becoming one of the most sought-after rare coins in the world. At first glance, the 1986 penny doesn't seem any different from the other pennies you might have in your pocket. On the obverse, you'll see the well-known image of President Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, a design that's been a staple of the penny since 1959. It's a familiar sight, right? But here's the twist. While most 1986 pennies are worth exactly what you'd expect, a single cent, there's a very rare and incredibly valuable version of this penny that's worth far more than its face value. In fact, this coin has a story that stretches far beyond a simple minting mistake. The 1986 penny is a case of mistaken identity in the world of coinage, a rare error coin that has become the center of one of the most incredible numismatic discoveries of all time. Let's take a quick trip back to 1986. The U.S. Mint was still producing pennies in the traditional copper-plated zinc format, a formula that had been in place since 1982. In fact, 1986 was a year that saw the production of billions of pennies, like any other year. But hidden among these billions of coins, a few extremely rare ones were created that would go on to defy all expectations and become some of the most valuable coins in history. So, what happened? Well, in the minting process of the 1986 pennies, a rare and unusual error occurred. Some pennies were mistakenly struck on the wrong planchets, metal discs that are used to create coins. These error pennies were created using wrong-sized planchets that were intended for other coins, not for pennies. Normally, the U.S. Mint uses zinc-plated steel planchets to strike the 1986 pennies. However, a small number of these pennies were struck using copper planchets, the same material used for pennies before 1982. This type of error, known as a metal error, is incredibly rare, and it's these special copper 1986 pennies that have skyrocketed in value. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 1986 pennies? It's not always easy to spot, but the key is in the composition of the coin. A regular 1986 penny will be made of zinc-plated steel, but if your penny is made of pure copper, that's where the value lies. Copper planchets, while used for pennies before 1982, are not supposed to be in circulation in 1986, making these copper pennies incredibly rare. Take a look at these two pennies side by side. The copper error penny on the left has a different weight, shine, and color compared to the regular zinc-plated steel penny on the right. This subtle difference is the key to identifying whether you have a rare copper 1986 penny. If you think you've found one of these rare copper 1986 pennies, the next step is to get it professionally graded. Coin grading is an essential part of determining a coin's value, and the better the condition, the higher its worth. A penny with no visible damage, sharp details, and minimal wear will naturally fetch a higher price. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. So, a copper 1986 penny in pristine condition could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or more. But what makes these rare pennies so valuable is not just their composition, but also their historical significance and the pure rarity of the error. Some of the most famous examples of these rare copper 1986 pennies have fetched extraordinary prices at auction. In fact, some of the highest graded copper 1986 pennies have sold for over $1 million, but there's one in particular, a coin that is believed to be in flawless condition, that could potentially be worth $47 million. Now, $47 million for a penny might sound like an exaggeration, but it's not entirely out of the question. Given the extreme rarity of these error coins and their historical value, experts believe that if the right penny and error coin in perfect condition were to come up for auction, it could indeed reach a mind-blowing price. Numismatists experts in the study of coins have long believed that error coins like the 1986 copper pennies will continue to increase in value as time goes on. As more and more collectors vie for a piece of history, the price of these rare pennies could soar. So, to recap, the 1986 1-cent coin might seem like just another penny, but certain error coins from that year, struck on the wrong copper planchets, are worth millions. If you find a copper penny from 1986, don't just toss it aside. Get it checked, graded, and see if it's the treasure you never knew you had. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any more exciting discoveries in the world of rare coins. And remember, the next great treasure might just be in your pocket. Next, what if I told you that a 2015 1-cent coin, a simple penny, could be worth a staggering $30 million? At face value, it's just 1 cent, but certain rare versions of this coin have become worth more than you could ever imagine. How is that possible? What makes this penny so special? Stick with us as we uncover the story of the 2015 1-cent coin and explore its true value. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a coin that many of you probably have in your pockets right now, the 2015 1-cent coin. But don't let its simple appearance fool you, this penny could be hiding a secret worth millions of dollars. Stick around because, by the end of this video, you'll see why some 2015 pennies are considered one of the most valuable coins in the world. At first glance, the 2015 penny seems no different than any other modern 1-cent coin. It features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, and on the reverse, we see the familiar image of the Union shield. It's a coin that most people would probably ignore, especially since it's not rare, and after all, it's just 1 cent, right? Well, here's the twist: while most 2015 pennies are indeed just worth their face value of 1 cent, a rare variety has surfaced that has caught the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. There's something about a few select 2015 pennies that could potentially make them worth up to $30 million. Let's start with a little bit of history. In 2015, the United States Mint produced billions of 1-cent coins, as they do every year. But something happened that year, something that has turned a small number of these pennies into one of the most sought-after error coins in recent history. So, what happened in 2015 that made some pennies so valuable? Well, let's break it down. In most years, the US Mint uses a particular type of metal mixture to create pennies. In 2015, they continued using the copper-plated zinc that had been in use since 1982. However, during the production of some pennies, a very rare error occurred. Some of the 2015 pennies were mistakenly struck on the wrong planchet, a type of metal disc that is meant to be used for another coin. These pennies were struck on wrong-sized planchets that weren't intended for pennies at all. These error pennies are the key to the $30 million mystery. These pennies are made with incorrect metal and wrong-sized planchets, which means they don't meet the typical specifications for a normal penny. It's these errors that are so valuable to collectors. But here's the catch: the error is so rare that very few coins from 2015 were actually struck this way. Typically, a coin is created by pressing a planchet, a blank metal disc, between two dies that engrave the coin's design. But in some rare cases, the mint has made mistakes, where these discs might not be perfectly centered or made from the wrong material. This rare mistake creates coins that are different from the intended design and manufacturing process. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare 2015 pennies with a valuable error? Well, first off, look closely at the coin's metal composition. A typical 2015 penny will have a copper-plated zinc composition, but if you come across a penny that seems to be made of pure copper, something that would have been used in older pennies before the 1982 shift, you might just have an error coin on your hands. Now, this isn't the only error that's been spotted in the 2015 penny series. There have also been reports of pennies with misaligned dies, meaning the engraving wasn't properly centered. These types of error coins are very popular in the collecting community, and their value increases the rarer they are. But what really sets the 2015 pennies apart from other error coins is their potentially astronomical value. Over the years, error coins have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some have even gone for millions. But when we're talking about the 2015 1-cent coin, there's a chance, and it's a rare one, that a few of these error pennies could be worth as much as $30 million. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay $30 million for a penny? Well, it all comes down to scarcity. There are so few of these error pennies, and the ones that survive in excellent condition are few and far between. On top of that, some collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a coin with historical significance. So, if you think you've found one of these rare error 2015 pennies, here's what you need to do. First, get the coin professionally graded. A coin's value is largely determined by its condition, which is rated on a scale of 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Coins are graded based on factors like the sharpness of the design, the wear and tear on the coin, and any damage it might have sustained over the years. A coin that is in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch a much higher price than a coin that has visible wear. Even if you don't have a $30 million penny in your collection, finding a rare 2015 penny with an error could still be worth thousands. So, if you come across one of these coins, make sure to have it evaluated by a professional coin grader before jumping to conclusions. So, to wrap it up, the 2015 1-cent coin might seem like just another penny, but certain error coins from that year are worth much more than their face value. A few rare 2015 pennies could be worth millions, and if you're lucky enough to find one, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Keep an eye on your change, and remember, the world of coin collecting can be full of surprises. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more exciting stories about coins and collectibles. Who knows? You could be the next person to discover a rare treasure hidden in plain sight. Last, what if I told you that a seemingly ordinary penny, the 2000 1-cent coin, could be worth a staggering $38 million? That's right. A coin, with a face value of just 1 cent, could have a value beyond your wildest dreams. But how is that possible? Why would anyone pay millions for a single penny? Stick with us, because today we're uncovering the incredible story behind the 2000 D 1 cent coin and why it could be worth big money. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about a very special penny, the 2000 D 1 cent coin, which has been making waves in the world of numismatics. Most of us wouldn't think twice about a penny, but some rare 2000 D pennies have been found to be worth millions of dollars. So, how did this happen? What makes this coin so special? And how do you know if you have one of these valuable pennies? Let's dive right into it. At first glance, the 2000 D 1 cent coin looks just like any other penny you might come across. On the obverse, you'll see the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been used on the penny since 1909. And on the reverse, we see the familiar image of the Union shield, which has graced the back of the penny since 2010. So, what makes the 2000 D 1 cent coin so valuable? At first glance, it doesn't appear any different from the regular pennies you'd find in your pocket. But the value comes from something that happened during the production of these coins in the year 2000. In the year 2000, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies to meet the demands of everyday commerce. But there was one particular penny, the 2000 D 1 cent coin, which would go on to become a key player in a rare and incredibly valuable era in coin production. Like all coins, the 2000 D penny was struck using a metal planchet, a blank piece of metal pressed between two dies to create the design. Normally, pennies are made from copper-plated zinc, but a rare error occurred in the minting process that caused a very small number of 2000 D pennies to be struck on incorrect planchets, meaning the planchet was the wrong size or metal composition. Some 2000 D pennies were struck on wrong-sized planchets, sometimes larger or smaller than the typical planchet used for a penny. This error is significant because it creates a coin with an unusual size or weight, making it stand out from the regular 2000 D pennies produced that year. So how can you tell if you've got one of these rare, error-filled pennies? It's all about the size and weight of the coin. The 2000 D penny struck on the wrong planchet may seem slightly different in size, either a little larger or smaller than the normal penny, or it may have a slight misalignment in the design because the coin wasn't struck on the correct type of planchet. As you can see here, the error penny on the left has a different look compared to the regular penny on the right. The edges of the error coin may appear slightly different, and the weight might be off. These slight differences make the coin much rarer and much more valuable. To spot one of these valuable error coins, you'll need to carefully examine its weight and size. A regular 2000 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but if you find one that's a bit heavier or lighter, or if it has visible imperfections on the edges, it might be a minting error that's worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Error coins like the 2000 D penny are highly sought after by collectors. In fact, a minting error like this can turn a coin that's supposed to be worth 1 cent into something worth thousands, or even millions. The most valuable examples of these error coins have sold at auction for impressive prices, with some being worth up to $38 million. Why is the 2000 D penny worth such an astronomical amount? It all comes down to rarity. Only a handful of these error pennies were struck, and many of them were caught early in the minting process and melted down. This means that finding one of these coins today is like finding a hidden treasure. Now, if you think you've found one of these valuable 2000 D error pennies, the next step is to get it professionally graded. Coin grading is essential when determining a coin's value. The better the condition, the more valuable the coin. If your penny is in pristine condition, it can fetch an even higher price at auction. Coin grading is based on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Coins with little to no wear, sharp details, and minimal imperfections are considered to be in higher grade, which directly increases their value. But it's not just about the error itself. The 2000 D penny is also important from a historical perspective. In the year 2000, the US was marking the turn of the millennium, and the penny was still a central part of the economy. The fact that these error coins were produced during such a significant year only adds to their appeal among collectors. Because of their rarity and historical significance, 2000D error pennies are in high demand at coin shows and auctions. Coin collectors from all over the world are eager to get their hands on one of these unique pieces of American history. So, to wrap things up, the 2000D 1-cent coin may seem like just another penny to most people, but certain error-struck versions of this penny are worth millions of dollars. These rare coins, made on the wrong planchets, could potentially fetch up to $38 million in the right condition. If you think you've found one, make sure to get it checked and graded because you might just have a hidden treasure in your hands. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell for more fascinating stories about rare coins. You never know, your next find might be worth millions.